Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome back to another episode of the F1 2022 My Team series here on the channel. Today is our home Grand Prix at the Silverstone Circuit in the Great British Grand Prix. Of course, home Grand Prix as a driver and as the team, so hopefully we can have a good result here in Silverstone. If you have missed any of the last episodes, make sure you check out the playlist on the channel and get yourself up to date with the series, especially the last race in Canada. It's got the least views so far in the series, and it's been the best race so far that I've ever driven of all time. So make sure you go and check out that Canadian Grand Prix if you have not already. Checking out the drivers' standings, as you can see, Charles Leclerc absolutely running away with this championship already this season. Getting into Silverstone, can we make a dent in his championship? Even though we are battling Williams and Aston Martin at the moment, it looks like nobody can put a stop to Charles Leclerc's reign in this season. So is he going to pick up another win in Silverstone? Let's find out. Not a very entertaining race, shouldn't say that, but you'll see what I mean in a moment. Let's get into qualifying now. A circuit I'm very familiar with, Silverstone, obviously with it being the British Grand Prix. I've done on the channel as well a track guide for the Silverstone Circuit. I'll go through it again now as we get into our lap. The exit of that chicane is very important, flat out through turn 1. Little shift down in the gear because we didn't have the downforce really. Flat out through turn 1 and 2. Braking about 70 metres for that right-hander. Swing it to the right because you need to swing the car back to the left and get on the power as early as possible to get down this straight. Long straight coming up now with a Drs Zone. Tricky braking zone at the end of this straight though. You pretty much want to get to about 50 metres and then just yeet the car around the corner. Just throw it in, brake in a straight line and try not to lock up. Very easy to lock up there. Now we've got a long right-hander, third gear. Get on the power as early as possible again because we do have another long section here on the run down into Copse Corner, very famous corner because of Lewis and Max. Yeah, we won't talk about that, but coming through now. Used to take it flat out, couldn't take it flat out this year. Was losing a lot of time through there. I think the AI take it flat out, so if you don't take it flat out, you do lose a lot of time through Maggots and Beckett's now. Very tricky section. Done it quite well there, to be honest. Coming through in 8th gear, dropping into 7th and then 6th on the exit. Very nice indeed, pushing wide as possible on that curb, on the exit. Now the run down into Stowe, about 50 metres, you want to brake, shift it down to 6th gear, get the car around the corner nice within track limits, and then into the next braking zone, the Vale and Club chicane, braking a 100 metre board through the chicane very hard to get traction and get the power down and coming out of that chicane there because your tyres are so hot coming through that previous section. And then we go again to go for another lap, but we invalidate there, as you can see, because we cut the first corner. But currently sat in P17, so a lot better than I did expect. To be honest, I actually did not expect to be that high up in the grid. We were actually faster than Kevin Magnussen in the Haas and Lando Norris in a McLaren, so two cars that are better than ours. But as you've seen, we've come out for another lap because it seems to be on this game, whoever's out last goes the fastest. So we come out for another lap, but we ran out of time. Like, it's a joke. I had like 3 minutes left in the session, did a flying lap, and then by the time I get to the line, it's over. Charles Leclerc fastest in the session again, who'd have thought it. We actually go out there in P20. But look at that, our teammate Oscar Piastri up in P15. He's made it through to Q2 for the first time in his career, I do think. We've made it through to Q2 twice, I want to say. Maybe once this season. I think it was once. But now Oscar Piastri has also made it through to Q2. Maybe he can get a decent start on the grid. Let's find out as we advance through the session.
Welcome along then to Great Britain and the Great Silverstone Circuit for today's Grand Prix. The 3.6-mile-long Silverstone Circuit is one of the longest of the season, with 18 corners in the current layout. With average lap speeds reaching around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the quickest tracks of the year. Watch out for cars taking the right-handers of Abbey and of Copse flat out. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Russell, Bottas, Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo, Ocon, Sebastian Vettel, and Gasly. Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Guan Yu Zhou and Lance Stroll. Albon, the owner driver. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
There we have the grid order then. Our teammate Oscar Piastri in P16. So not a bad result for our guy there. We're going with the alternate strategy in Silverstone here, 2-stop. I know Silverstone is very high for tyre deg. So I was thinking instead of going with that medium hard strategy, we'll go with a 2-stop. Start on the softs. Give us 2 stops in the race, 3 different compounds of tyre if we go off what it says on there. But light out and away we go. On the soft tyres, I thought we might have got off to a better start than some cars around us. But there's Latifi on the medium tyres, flying ahead into turn 1, flat out normally, but we have to brake a little. Going up the inside, Alex Albon comes across to cut us off. Round the outside of Alex Albon now through turn 2, and we're going to send one up the inside into turn 3. Deep on the brakes, and that's our teammate Oscar Piastri on our left there. Now for the next turn, we're going round the outside of Sebastian Vettel, and these soft tyres proven to be a great tyre to start on, because look at the grip we have off the line there. Already up into P14 from P20. What a start to this race as we head down this straight now, trying to keep Sebastian behind us, chasing down Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri. But just a great start on these soft tyres right off the line. Not very good, but you saw coming through those first few corners just the grip that we had to go around the outside of Sebastian there. A great overtaking. Zhou Guan Yu's been overtaken as well at some point. We also took over our teammate Oscar Piastri, who obviously started higher than us on the grid, but we managed to overtake him. Chasing down Yuki Tsunoda now on the medium tyres. We're the only one on soft tyres, as well as Kevin Magnussen, who started in P22. I don't know what happened to Kevin in qualifying. Of course, that Haas car is a lot better than ours, but now it looks like there's a slow train in front. I don't know who's leading this train. We have Tsunoda and Ocon in front. There's somebody else in front of them who's slowing them down. I'm not sure who got that high up in the grid actually to be that slow. Maybe it's Mick Schumacher and the Haas. Maybe the Haas is just struggling in this circuit. You can see Magnussen now join us in the top left. He's came up into P16. Those soft tyres again, proving a good tyre to start on, as Carlos Sainz sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 1, and coming across the line. Like I say, we went for that 2-stop strategy because if you have not seen the last race in Canada, we started on the soft tyres and it was just a great tyre to start on. And of course, getting the tyres up to temperature this year, the medium, the hards, especially the hards, getting tyres up to temperature after a pit stop is very hard to do. So decided to start on the soft tyres, trying to extend this stint as long as possible. And with the tyre deg, I expected a lot more drivers to go with a 2-stop strategy. You'll see towards the end part of the race how many actually do go with a 2-stop, but I expected a lot more because the tyre deg, as we'll see, is so high around Silverstone. Very fast circuit, tyres get hot so much coming through Maggots and Beckett's especially, and into the Vale Club chicane. You can see the time we've made up to Tsunoda. He was nearly 1 second ahead at one point, but we caught up to about 4 tenths there, just losing time through the Vale Club chicane now on the exit. It was so hard for traction, and someone's trying to go up the inside of us there. That's going to be Zhou Guan Yu. Completely shut that door on him. Going through the flat out turn 1, if he tried to send it up the inside, would have been a disaster. You know, I mean, we've seen collisions before in Silverstone when 2 cars try and go flat out through the same corner, and yeah, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, let's not spark those debates. But we have DRS now. It's on lap 3, so DRS is activated. We do have DRS on Yuki Tsunoda. Gonna get stuck in a bit of a DRS train here as we have a massive snap of oversteer. Get a warning for cutting the corner there. We didn't mean to. We just had a massive snap of oversteer and went off the track. But we managed to catch that. And as you can see already, he was on like 15% wear on the tyres. It's on lap 3. 15% wear after 3 laps is quite high. Let's be honest. Like, the soft tyres definitely getting burned out very quick here. Might have to switch up the strategy a little on the fly in this race, but we will get to that when we get to that bit of understeer coming out of the Maggott and Beckett's there, and Chapel, is that one? The end one's Chapel, I don't know, but they're behind us, Zhou Guanyu and Kevin Magnussen. Magnussen making the overtake on Zhou with that DRS open. Luckily, we got DRS on Silverstone, on Sonoda, to pull us along there down that straight, and then we can catch him again into that braking zone for Vale & Club chicane. Maybe I'm going too deep on the brakes, a little bit of oversteer there again. This point in the lap, your tyres are just so hot, and we're approaching the pit window already. I think we was only doing 7 laps maybe, or 6, on these soft tyres to begin with, but a solid first stint regardless, because we're up into P14 from P20 on the grid. So looking so far like we did make the right decision to start on these soft tyres. Now we've lost the DRS to Sonoda, but look at this train in front of us. There's so many cars, someone holding us up here. There's about 5 cars in front of us, and there is going to be a yellow flag in front, so maybe that is why there's such a big train, someone holding them up, as Fernando Alonso comes into the pit on lap 5. Don't know what happened to Alonso, maybe he picked up some damage. There's going to be Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo with engine failure. You saw the smoke coming out of the back of that car there. Bottas out of the race, and obviously holding up this pack in front. It is going to be Sonoda, Ocon, Schumacher, but now there's 2 more cars in front. This is crazy. We do get back within that DRS range because of that yellow flag, and Bottas holding some of the people up. But Magnussen slowly catching us from behind now as we slowly catch Sonoda. Stuck in this DRS train, no one can get past each other because we all have DRS open at the same time, which means the added benefit of DRS, which obviously gives you more speed on the straights, everyone's getting that benefit. So that is how a DRS train forms, you know, everyone gets the same benefit, so it basically means that there's no benefit at all, in a sense, if that makes sense. But coming across the line to start lap 6 now, Sonoda way gone, and there goes Kevin Magnussen up the inside. He's looking for a move into turn 1. Can we avoid contact here with Kevin Magnussen through turn 2, and Magnussen turning into us there, pushing us off the track nearly. Magnussen leaving no space whatsoever. We have to take evasive action in the end to not go into the back of his car, but what is Kevin Magnussen thinking? And now Zhou Guanyu is trying to make a move on us as we hit the first DRS zone of the lap to go down the straight. Magnussen racing away into the distance. Our tyres on 40% wear after 6 laps. These soft tyres not surviving at all. But Kevin Magnussen also on the softs. He must be experiencing the same deg as us, so I don't know how he had the confidence to go for a move like that. But completely turned into us through turn 2. You can see a replay now. Can't really see him. You can see his car to the right hand side though. Just left us no space at all. We had the right to that corner and the right to that space, and he completely turned in to try and push us off the track. Don't know what he was thinking, Magnussen there, but chasing him down now on the run into Cop's corner, getting towards Maggott and Beckett. The gap to Pierre Gasly behind Zhou Guanyu, 5 seconds, so I don't know what's happened to Pierre, but if you look on the map in the bottom left as well, you can see there's a significant gap to where we are and the cars behind us, and our teammate, unfortunately, Oscar Piastri, is stuck in that train behind, and there's understeer again, coming out of Maggott and Beckett because of these tyres, and now Zhou is going to look for a move round the outside here. We're using a bit of battery to defend. Can we get back up alongside him into Stone? Braking, pushing him a bit wide, taking our line very straight into that braking zone to push Zhou wide, but we're going to come into the pits here at the end of lap 6 to put on some medium tyres because these softs are completely done. Very long pit stop here in Silverstone, and this is what I did not take into account when deciding the strategy, because look, by the time we got to
there seems to have been a problem attaching the right front wheel. We need to try and put that behind us though and finish the race strong.
Just in team radio there to say that we had a problem with the right front, and you saw that they struggled to get the right front on, and the pit stop ended up being 4.4 seconds, but by the end of the pit lane when we come out, it was like 40 seconds or something lost in the pits. Now I underestimated that completely about the time it takes in the pits, so we come out in P21 running dead last. Fernando Alonso in front on soft tyres, chasing down Sebastian Vettel on medium tyres. Sebastian, don't know what's happened to him, but if you look at the gap at the top left, Sebastian is 22 seconds behind his teammate, Lance Stroll. So maybe Sebastian's pit as well, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, to lose 40 seconds in the pit stop and to go for a 2-stop strategy, here's where I'm thinking already, damn, we might have messed up here. But you saw the tyre deck with those soft tyres. So let's see how it's going to be on the mediums. And obviously if everyone else has trouble with the mediums and they have to go into the hards, and then if the hards don't last, maybe we can catch up to some people at the end of this race. But this middle stint right now is just about getting the medium tyres up to temperature pushing as hard as we can to try and gain those positions back that we did lose. We was in P14, obviously, or 15 before we came into the pits. Coming out of Magnussen Beckett, though, showing that these medium tyres are a lot better than the softs, obviously, right now at this point in the race, which makes sense anyway. Getting that DRS on Sebastian Vettel and almost going into the back of Vettel there, as Alonso made a pass a long time ago. But now we try and set up a move on Sebastian into the chicane. We're going to go up the inside, deep on the brakes, and we managed to get the car rotated through the chicane. Very nice overtake indeed to get past Sebastian, who's clearly struggling this race. I wonder if he's picked up damage or something, but clearly struggling, because now Alonso's already 2.7 seconds ahead of him, and now we're putting in a gap already. We've only just overtaken him, putting in that gap to 1 second already through the first turn. Like, what is happening to Sebastian Vettel in this race? Who knows? But can we try and catch up to Alonso? Stroll 24 seconds ahead. Obviously, if it's 40 seconds in a pit stop, then we will overtake a lot of people in the pits. As you can see here, we're up to P14 again. A lot of people in the pits there. A lot of people just coming out of the pits in front too. I think that's someone in front. Zhou Guan Yu just came out of the pits. He's on hard tyres now. And as you can see, 1.5 seconds. Well, obviously less than that now because we're catching him. But like I say, hard tyres, so hard to warm up. We don't have DRS on him, unfortunately, down the straight, which we probably could have overtaken him on this straight if we did. Using a bit of battery to catch up into that braking zone at the end though. And just look how much Zhou is struggling. Full grip on the exit to this corner. How slow he's going, and we try and look for a move round the outside. Who's going to have the better traction? It's going to be us round the outside. We're up alongside Zhou, using some of that battery to try and push past him, try and push in front on the run down into Cop's corner, because we don't want him going up the inside and understeering into us like a certain 7-time world champion. I mean, what? Round Cop's corner, and we are in front of Zhou Guan Yu. And a great move there, but showing Zhou struggling again on those hard tyres, just coming out of the pits. Starting at 15 now. Lando Norris, the car behind us in the McLaren, obviously a much faster car, so there's not really a point in fighting this. But Lando struggled in qualifying, mustn't have that great pace around Silverstone, so we are going to fight this. Normally I would just let him pass, but I will fight this as much as I can. I say as much as I can because Magnussen 5 seconds ahead. He's not going to help us with DRS. So pushing down the straight now, Lando will have that rear wing open and down into the braking zone. We did leave the door open a little, almost a bit of contact there with Lando Norris, and Lando makes the move. We left the door wide open, but I just tried to open the angle for the corner myself. I didn't think he'd send it from that far back. So a nice move from Lando Norris there, I will say. Bit of bad defending, but it is what it is, man. Look at that. But Lando getting a bit squirrely into the braking zone there, as you saw, shaking a little, and that's what caused the contact. Luckily, it was only wheel to wheel between us, and we didn't take any damage to the front wing. But still trying to keep him within our sights and chasing down, coming through Cops. And like I say, I think I was losing a lot of time through Cops and through Magnussen Beckett's, because it seems like the AI just take these sections flat out completely. And obviously, as a driver yourself, you can't do that, so it's unfair. And a lot of people complaining about the AI in general this year, saying that they're a lot faster than they were last year. I'm playing on the same difficulty as I was last year, and I don't really feel a difference, I can't lie to you. But into Stowe, can we have a little look at the inside of Lando Norris there? We have a look, but definitely way too far back to send a move like that. That would have just caused a crash between us two, and that would not have been good racecraft. So we avoided pushing in for that. I was going to say that kill. It probably would have killed. It would have killed both of us, but we avoid that. And now look at the tyre deck here. 51% on that front left, 49 on the front right. The rear tyre is doing better than the fronts, and the front is where I was really struggling, understeering a lot through a lot of these sections. Even Cops there, look at that slight understeer. You probably won't even notice that if you're not driving it yourself. But and for anyone who doesn't know what understeer is, you see we decided to box this lap, but instead of going to the hards, which was the original strategy, I do change it to soft. So let's see how a second soft tyre stint does. But yeah, for people who don't know what understeer is, let's say you're driving and you turn the wheel. Yeah, say you turn the wheel right, your car will turn right. But with understeer, your front tyres are either not grippy enough or too hot to grip the surface. So when you turn the wheel for your car to turn, the front tyres don't grip that road. So when you turn, you just carry on going straight, if that makes sense. I think that's a good explanation of understeer. But yeah, so getting into the pit stop again. Let's see where we come out. It was sat in P12, a good result if we were to finish there, but these tyres definitely would not have went to the end of the race. We had like 8 laps left, and those tyres were going to pop if we went 8 laps. Hopefully there's no problems in the pit stop this time like there was on the first pit stop. 2.4 seconds, no problems whatsoever. But we're going to come out of the pits now. behind Fernando Alonso. Anyone else going to overtake us? We're down in P18, out of P20. Sebastian Vettel, 1.5 minutes behind. 1.5 minutes, that's right, you heard me correct. What has happened to Sebastian Vettel this race? 1.5 minutes? I actually don't know what he's done to be that far behind us. Like, at this race, we're going to lap Sebastian Vettel in this race. Like, we're in P18 and we're going to lap someone. That is crazy if that does happen. Soft tyres for the final stint of the race down. Easy to warm them up. Alonso in front, 8.4 seconds ahead. Now we've just got to put the laps in. This is where I realised, like, wow, two-stop strategy was a bad strategy to go with. And a massive snap of oversteer there, as you can see, coming through the start lap 22. There's a yellow flag in sector 3 though, which is at the minute just behind us, but a yellow flag. Let's go and check out what's going on there. It's one of the Mercedes by the looks of the minimap in the bottom left. It's going to be Lewis Hamilton, and Hamilton slowly going along there. And look at that rear left tyre. The rear left tyre is hanging off that car. We'll see another angle of it now as we go through them all. That rear left tyre, he's got a puncture. Lewis Hamilton has to come into the pits. Lewis Hamilton, a man who's very familiar with tyre failure in Silverstone. If you do remember that race when he finished the race on like one tyre, every other tyre blew up. But speak of the devil, there's Sebastian Vettel. And we've just lapped Sebastian Vettel. That is absolutely crazy to me. Lap 23 of 26, we're sat in P18 out of 20. And we've just lapped someone. I don't know what Sebastian has done this race, but he's struggling big time. Now we're about to get lapped to make up for it. It's going to be Charles Leclerc in the lead, lapping us, the only car to lap us this race. And this means that this is our final lap. And look at this understeer coming through Stowe there. Absolutely crazy. The team wanted me to box again and make it a 3-stop. And I was like, are you dumb? Like, I'm not Sebastian Vettel, do you know what I mean? I'm not getting lapped by P18. So, coming across the line there, struggling again. Big snap of oversteer. That happened every lap. That's why we couldn't catch Alonso. But we come across the line there, P18, stinker. Let's just say that is stinker. That's why I said before it wasn't a really good race, because it was a stinker. We had a great first stint, getting up into P14 off the grid. On the mediums, we ended up into P12, and I was like, this is a great race. And then obviously that third or second pit stop completely shattered all hopes and dreams of a good finish here. Sad because it's our home Grand Prix, so to let the team down, let the fans down, you know, it's disappointing, but I'm sure we'll be back next year to run a one-stop. Yeah, and make sure you remind me in Canada's race for the season 2. Make sure you remind me, Silverstone next. Don't go with a 2-stop, you fool. Maybe we could make a 2-stop work if we were faster, because obviously the car stinks. So maybe we should just not try these unique strategies with a stinky car. But then again, we did a 2-stop in Canada, and it worked out for us due to the safety car. So, like, in fact, no, we made it a 1-stop in Canada, but still, you know what I mean? Like, all it took was a safety car in this race. Hamilton gets that puncture, goes off and hits the wall, safety car comes out, and then we're flying again on soft tyres on the restart, do you know what I mean? Like, so it's those gambles that you have to take in Formula 1, and we took the gamble, we take the risk. I always take the risk, you know, I don't care, I always take the risk, and this time it didn't pay off, but that is just the nature of the game, you know what I mean? Charges of the game. Hopefully next race, which I believe is Austria, which I've just got a feeling our car is going to stink in Austria. Austria's one of my favourite circuits, it's so fast. I've done track guide on the channel, it was the race in real life the other day. But yeah, our car, I've just got a feeling it's going to stink. I've not recorded that race yet, but I'm not even looking forward to it. Daniel Ricciardo in P6 in a McLaren, that's a great result for him. After Lando Norris not doing that great originally, but he finished P11 actually, Lando, and qualified P8, so maybe he did. And the biggest shock in this whole race, I forgot to mention, Nicholas Latifi, driver of the day. Are you kidding me? I thought I was a stinker getting driver of the day last week, but they've given it to an even bigger stinker today. Nicholas Latifi, he's up from P21 to P15. What a race from the lad there, to be fair to him. Oscar Piastri starting P16, finishing P16. Decent result from him, I guess. And yeah, we've still got 1 point, still not last. Williams still trying to fight to get their first point, but it's not going to happen. Sebastian Vettel running a 1-stop, does that say? Sebastian ran a 1-stop and got lapped by us. How? And Alex Albon ran a 3-stop and still finished ahead of him. I don't know what Sebastian was doing that race. I genuinely am so confused by that. But anyway, we've got to renew our contract with our sponsor. We get a bonus if we out-qualify our rival. But we don't even have a rival at the minute because I haven't picked one. So it's a pointless sponsor to pick, but we're going to pick one soon. We're going to get this weight redistribution upgrade, which should just help with the chassis, because as you can see by that little chart, it's gone off now quickly. But yeah, our chassis stinks. It's the worst on the grid by a mile. And yeah, so Austrian Grand Prix is next. Hopefully you did enjoy. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know the vibes. I'll catch us next time. No, I won't, because we're about to buy an upgrade. So stay tuned. We're buying a quality control upgrade in the chassis. No, we're not. We're buying a resource points generation. That'll give us more resource points every week to upgrade the car. But that is going to be it. It's so hot. It's like 36 degrees right now. So stay safe, everyone in the UK, because I feel like dying after this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibes. I'll catch us next time. Take it easy.